Hello, good morning. Welcome. Welcome to your new program. How are you doing today? How's everything going? How are things? How are you doing today? How's everything going? How are things? For me, things are going fine. Although I didn't sleep well last night. Español diría es no he dormido bien esta noche. In English, no dormí bien anoche. I didn't sleep well last night. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I'm sleepy today. Si me duermo, Marta, me despiertas, okay? Don't worry, if I fall asleep in front of the camera, Marta will come and wake me up. She'll wake me up. All right, gain fluency. I want to finish page 63. The third from the bottom, page 63. I've given them a 2-month notice in line with the rental contract. Once they leave the flat, we'll check to make sure it's in good condition. If it is, then we'll return the deposit in full. All right. When you rent es alquilar, o como dicen en México, rentar. Voy a rentar un departamento. Okay. I'm going to rent an apartment or a flat. Flat is piso. Apartment, flat, or to rent a house. Yes. I've rented a lot of houses in my life. How many houses have I personally rented? I rented one in Austin, Texas. No, 1, 2, 3. I rented 3 apartments in Austin, Texas. I rented one apartment in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I rented, no, in Dallas, Texas, no. I rented 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apartments in Madrid. In all, I think in my life I've rented 9 apartments. And I've rented 2 bedrooms. Alquiler un dormitorio. To rent 2 bedrooms. And I spent 2 separate weeks in La Pensión Gracia. Con Gracia de Triana. Okay. La Cantora. And so, yeah, I've lived in 34 different places. So I've rented, some of them rented. Okay, to rent. So when you rent, normally, when you rent an apartment, you need to pay a deposit or to leave a deposit. Here in Spain, you usually say una fianza, de un mes, 2 meses, 2 meses de alquiler con fianza. We say depósito, okay, deposit, which is also correct here. You leave a 1-month deposit in the United States. Here I think it's 2 months. I think it's legally a 2-month deposit. Then when you leave the apartment or the flat, the owner, the landlord, or the landlady, el casero o la casera. Curioso, decimos landlord. El señor de la tierra. Land, tierra, lord, señor. Yes, landlord. And landlady, la dama. Landlady. The landlady is la casera. The landlord is, and todavía se usa, the landlord. And so, the landlord comes in and checks. If everything is okay, then the landlord or landlady needs to return the deposit to the person. All right? So, I've given them, yes, one more thing. In the rental contract, which is also called the lease, lease, lease. This is an important word in English. A leasing contract, a lease. Oof, this is difficult. Well, it's not difficult for me, but it's difficult to explain. A lease es un contrato de arrendamiento, pero de una vivienda, a lease. You know, I can hear sirens outside. Yeah, can you hear it? Can you hear the sirens? But in any case, when you rent a house, you sign a lease, lease. The lease is el contrato de alquiler o de arrendamiento. That's a lease. Now, a leasing contract is usually a different approach. It's a leasing contract, for example. Instead of buying a car, perhaps you can lease a car for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And we call that a leasing contract. Also, they have what they call un renta, hacen un renting, te suena, no? To a rental contract for a car. For example, I had 3 cars on respective 4-year rental contracts, but not leasing, rental. But in any case, when you rent a flat, an apartment, a house, you sign a lease. And the lease basically is the contract. And it specifies that if you're planning to leave, you need to give 2 months' notice. In Spanish, I think you say un aviso de 2 meses, así, ¿no? Hay que dar aviso. You have to leave a notice, leave notice. So, in this case, les he dado un aviso de 2 meses. I've given them, los caseros, I've given them a 2-month notice in line with the rental contract. In line with, en línea con, lo mismo en español que en inglés. In line with, es una expresión muy socorrida. En línea con esto, en línea con aquello, etc. Yeah, conforme. It's a lease contract, in line with the contract. Once they leave the flat, una vez dejan el piso, once they leave the flat, we'll check to make sure, asegurarnos, we'll check to make sure it's in good condition. In Spanish, always you say en buenas condiciones, en plural. Mi coche está en buenas condiciones, esta habitación está en buenas condiciones. En inglés, lo contrario, en buena condición. Always. We don't say conditions. Yes, we say conditions para las condiciones de contrato. Terms and conditions. We say los términos y las condiciones del contrato. The terms and conditions. But I think that's the only case in which we say conditions. Está en buenas condiciones. It's in good condition. And here, I've given them, les he dado un aviso de que se tienen que marchar. I've given them a 2-month notice in line with the rental contract. Once they leave the flat, we'll check to make sure it's in good condition. If it is, then we'll return the deposit in full. If it is, si lo está, si está en buenas condiciones, si no hay desperfectos, if there aren't any problems, then we'll return the deposit in full, en pleno, o sea, plenamente, completely. So, if it is, we'll check to make sure it's in good condition. Punto. If it is, si resulta que sí, if it is, then we'll return the deposit in full. So one more time. I've given them a 2-month notice in line with the rental contract. Once they leave the flat, we'll check to make sure it's in good condition. If it is, then we'll return the deposit in full. In full. Okay. The next one. The next to last paragraph on page 63. I wonder what happened to Tommy Simpson. Se llama Tommy, ¿no? Yeah, Tommy Simpson. Simpson, como los Simpson. I wonder what happened to Tommy Simpson. I wonder what happened. Pasado simple. Me pregunto qué pasó. En español diríais, ¿qué habrá pasado a Tommy Simpson? ¿Qué le habrá pasado a Tommy Simpson? Pero en inglés no. No podemos usar el futuro perfecto para una especulación. Decimos, I wonder. ¿Dónde estará Marta? Marta no está en su sitio. ¿Dónde estará? I wonder where Marta is. ¿Por qué lo harán de esa manera? Claro, usando futuro en castellano. ¿Por qué lo harán de esa manera? Qué raro. I wonder why they do it that way. Me pregunto por qué lo hacen de esa manera. I wonder why. Yes. ¿Qué habrá pasado a Felipe? I wonder what happened to Philip. Y aquí, I wonder what happened to Tommy Simpson. ¿Qué habrá pasado al bueno de Tommy Simpson, ese chico? I wonder what happened to Tommy Simpson. He left the company 5 years ago. 5 years ago, he said goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Marta. Goodbye, Richard. He left the company 5 years ago and just disappeared. Disappeared. And just simplemente desapareció. De la cara de la tierra, decimos en inglés, de la faz. He disappeared from the face of the earth. He just disappeared. I heard he was in South Africa, but that was 3 years ago. Yeah. I wonder. Se dice muchísimo en inglés, wonder. I wonder who. I wonder who. Yeah. There's a song. ¿Quién habrá escrito el libro del amor? Bueno, el libro del buen amor fue el arcipreste de Ita. But the libro del amor, I don't know. I wonder who wrote the book of love. Yeah. But in this case, I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened to Tommy Simpson. He left the company 5 years ago and just disappeared. The last thing I heard, no the last thing. I heard he was in South Africa. África del Sur. South Africa. South Africa. South Africa. South de Llorón. South Africa. South America. South America. South Africa. El sonido de ceceo, THCCO en inglés. La TH suave. Zaragoza, South Africa. South Africa. I heard, that was 3 years ago. I heard he was in South Africa. Oí que estaba en África del Sur, o en Sudáfrica. I heard he was in South Africa, but that was 3 years ago. And finally, the one at the bottom, the last one on page 63. We're almost out of beer. We're almost out of beer. ¿Entiendes? No? We're almost out of beer. We're almost out of beer. Casi estamos sin cerveza. We are almost out of beer. Claro, quedar sin algo es to run out of it. Nos estamos quedando sin cerveza. We are running out of beer. Eso es el proceso de agotamiento. Pero cuando está agotado y no hay, ya no es run. Estamos ya out. We are out of beer. We're out of beer? Oh my God. Yeah. Can you go downstairs and buy 4 6-packs of Miller? Okay, Miller, el señor Miller. Miller is a famous beer brand in the United States. The four most famous or the 4 most successful beer brands in the United States today is Modelo, una marca mexicana. It's number 1 in the United States. A Mexican brand, but it's number 1 in the United States. Number 2 is Budweiser. Number 3 is Miller. And number 4 is Coors. Okay. All right. But here we're talking about Miller beer. We're almost out of beer. We're almost. Estamos casi sin cerveza. We are almost out of beer. Ahora, digámoslo como los nativos. We're almost out of beer. Out of. Ningún nativo dice out of. Siempre dice out of. O los británicos, muchos dicen out of. We're almost out of beer. Yeah. Como nuestra amiga aquí. We're almost out of beer. We're almost out of beer. Out of beer. So, can you go downstairs? ¿Puedes bajar? Can you go down, bajar a la calle? En inglés no decimos go to the street. In fact, in the English language, in Spanish, it's so common. Lo que pasa en la calle. Y los acontecimientos consuetudinarios que acontecen en la rúa. Lo que pasa en la calle. All right. Está en la calle. Voy a salir a la calle. Never in English do we say to the street. We say outside. Going outside. Going outside. My daughter, when she was very little, she understood English, but she didn't speak it. When she was two years old, 1.5, 18 months, 24 months old. But every time quería salir a la calle, al parque. And she said in Spanish always, quiero ir outside, quiero ir outside. Porque es la forma de decir, quiero ir a la calle. Y a tu perro, bueno, Robert, vamos a la calle, te saco a la calle, and take you outside. Never to the street. We never say to the street. Aquí tenéis una fijación en las calzadas. You say la calle. Why? Fuera o afuera. All right. So you have to remember outside, to go outside. I'm going outside to ride my trike. My mother, we lived for about 10 months in New York City. When I was 2 years old and 3, I turned 3 in New York City, living in the borough of Queens on Long Island. And I was only 2.5 and 3 years old, but I always went outside. I had a tricycle. And I said to my mother, later, when I was 10 years old, she made fun of me. Se burlaba de mí. Because at that time, I developed a New York accent. And my mother has a very strong Texas accent. But I had a New York accent. And I said, I'm going outside to ride my trike. I'm going outside. Voy a salir a la calle a montar mi triciclo. I'm going outside to ride my trike. And my mother made fun of that. I'm going outside to ride my tricycle or my trike. Yeah, my bike. Bike is bicicleta. Bicycle, bike, tricycle, trike. I'm going outside to ride my trike, but always outside. And here it says, we're almost out of beer. Can you go downstairs and buy 4 6-packs of Miller? Can you go downstairs? Puedes bajar y comprar. Bajar se entiende la calle. Downstairs. Puedes ir escaleras abajo y comprar. Así lo decimos. Downstairs. Can you go downstairs? Upstairs, downstairs is an expression used all the time. They're upstairs. ¿Dónde trabaja Felipe? Arriba en la próxima planta. Upstairs. Solo hay 2 plantas aquí. Upstairs. Yeah, they're upstairs. They're not downstairs. They're upstairs. Okay. Can you go downstairs and buy a 6-pack of Miller? We're almost out of beer. Can you go downstairs and buy a 6-pack? Paquete de 6. You carry it with beer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 cans of beer. 6 cans of beer. 6 cans of beer. Not a bottle of beer, but a can of beer. All right. There are 2 types of, you can drink beer from a bottle, or you can drink beer from a can. Or you can pour the beer into a glass and drink the beer from a glass. Me, I always prefer beer in a glass. I don't like to drink beer from the bottle nor from the can because it tastes different. I don't know why, but I like beer, but I like it more from a glass. All right. If it's a bottle, all right. There's a song, 99 bottles of beer. ¿Te acuerdas? ¿Te acuerdas la canción? No? Okay, 99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 colgando, 90 botellas colgadas a lo largo de la pared. 99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 98 bottles of beer on the wall. 98 bottles of beer on the wall. 98 bottles of beer. take one down, pass it around, 97 bottles of beer. Y hay que bajar a uno. So it's a very long song. Baja uno, pasa de uno a otro, then another. And I remember when we were 10 years old at school, in primary school, on an excursion to the lake outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, we sang that song. And the poor bus driver, with all these, with 30 kids, 52 bottles of beer on the wall. Terrible. Okay. Son muy repelentes los niños, I can see. All right. All right. We're almost out of beer. Can you go downstairs and buy a 6-pack of Miller? A 6-pack. A 6-pack. También dicen cuando tienen, they say a 6-pack. Haces 80,000 abdominales, so how do you say? Sentadillas, se dice así. Pues ya tienes como un paquete de 6. Muscles, a 6-pack. So can you go downstairs and buy a 6-pack of Miller? Buy 4 6-packs of Miller. There's a shop right across the street. This is English. We speak like this. There's a shop right across the street. Justo enfrente. Hay una tienda justo enfrente. There is a shop right across the street. No. Right across the street. That's open 24 hours. Here's $20. That should be enough. Con inflación ya no. Here's $20. $20 para 4 paquetes de 6, no. Here's $20. That should be enough. That should be enough. Eso seguramente, con toda seguridad es suficiente. Should aquí es dos debería. Pero bueno, debería ser suficiente. Será suficiente, diríais aquí. $20, yo creo que será suficiente. That should be enough. The English in these paragraphs is very, very native spoken English. Not written English, spoken. This is how people speak. And this paragraph is extremely common. Right across the street. There's a shop right across the street. Here's $20. That should be esa cantidad, that should be enough. One more time. We're almost out of beer. Can you go downstairs and buy 4 6-packs of Miller? Yeah. There's a shop right across the street that's open 24 hours a day. There's a shop right across the street that's open. That is open, que está abierto. There's a shop right across the street that's open 24 hours a day. Here's $20. That should be enough. Okay. That should be enough. And we'll come back another day. Where's my marker? We'll come back another day. But I still have a few minutes to start with some expressions. Page 117. 117 at the top. To hedge your bets. Oof. Yes, to hedge your bets. Aquí dice curarse en salud. Yeah. Pero es más minimizar los riesgos. Hedge your bet. A bet es una apuesta. Se protege tus apuestas con algún seguro. You understand? That's to hedge your bets. Hedge funds is a very popular type of investment. Una inversión donde hay muchas protecciones. A hedge, escrito hedge, con H, edge, 5 letters, Hedge, edge. Hedge. Hedge es un seto físico, un seto. Entre propiedades puede haber setos. Yes, hedges. Hedge. Now, to hedge your bet is quizá poner un seto que proteja o algo. To hedge your bets. Yes. Minimizar los riesgos o curarse en salud. All right. Curémonos en salud y compremos dos billetes de lotería diferentes. Okay. Yeah, let's hedge our bets and buy two different lottery tickets. All right, to hedge your bets. The next one, oh, the heebie-jeebies. Escalofríos, me da escalofríos. The heebie-jeebies. I've never heard this expression in my life. Otra vez. Jimena. ¿Será británico? 100%. Sí, las arañas me dan escalofríos. Okay, spiders give me the heebie-jeebies. All right. In the United States and in England, we say the creeps. Creeps. Spiders give me the creeps. The creeps. Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get them peepers? Creeps. It gives me the creeps. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. See you tomorrow.